Welcome, Frank and Klaus.
Hi. Good to see you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Welcome. So have a seat, gentlemen, wherever. Comfortable, isn't it?
Very comfortable. It's nice to be here. Hello.
Great to have you both with us. Frank, tell us a bit about what you do at Audi on a daily basis. Just 1 or 2 sentences.
1 or 2 sentences. Okay. So I'm responsible for the digital strategy in production and logistics. This means we try to really make the digital transformation from the traditional manufacturing to the more smart and digital production. And additionally, I'm responsible within Catena-X for the internationalization and to drive to grow our community.
Thank you very much for that. And Klaus, how about you?
Yes, Siemens is a pioneer in Catena-X together with Volkswagen and many others. And I have the big honor to represent Siemens in this ecosystem, in the board of directors, in our association. And my other role in Siemens is being the director for automotive ecosystems, because we, of course, as Siemens, need to understand ecosystems and also work together with our partners and customers in ecosystems.
All right, thank you very much for sharing that. We're going to jump right into an important question, which I think is very, very crucial, obviously, for OEMs like Audi or Volkswagen, the Volkswagen Group in general. What are the main, let's say, challenges on the one side and the goals on the other side when dealing with Catena-X?
It's a big question, but very relevant and important for us as an OEM. If we take a look into the last 5 years, the world really dramatically changed. That means it started all around with the crisis on COVID. Mm-hmm. We had really issues in the supply chain with the Ever Given in the Suez Canal. So there were several issues, and then heading up to the semiconductor crisis. So we really recognized that the supply chain is crucial for us, but it's also not possible to manage it in a right way, and therefore Catena-X is jumping in, because we need more transparency, we need more control on critical material, on scarce material, and therefore we also have to think about how to optimize the supply chain and how to optimize the flows from the mine to the recycling process, because the OEM is not the end of the modern supply chain, because finally we have to think about recycling, bringing the critical and the scarce material back.
Right.
And therefore Catena-X plays a very significant role for us as an OEM, but also for the suppliers and the partners in the supply chain.
Whew, very ambitious, I guess we could say. Klaus, from your perspective, what do you think does it take to scale the ecosystem?
Oh, scaling the ecosystem is a question we try to answer later, and also we want to the ambitious goal here on our booth to really push the applications, activate the small and medium companies together with the OEMs for the internationalization. But let's come to one example.
Okay.
And Frank, maybe you can just explain, because I think it's important to go with concrete examples
for
this dimension. And Frank, we have this radar here of regulations, right? What's the problem with it?
Yeah, a good question, thanks. And I forgot to mention that, because if we see how the supply chain is working, we also see it's not only the material flow, but it's also the regulation coming up from the US, from the EU, in China. There are several regulations we have to take care.
Right.
And if we take, for example, only the battery pass, we need over 100 single data sets from the miner up to the recycling process. And if we don't have a proper process to deliver those topics, those single information in the right way, on a trusted way, we will fail. We cannot bring our cars to the market, because the regulation will say, no, you cannot offer that product to the market. And that's only the beginning, because a battery pass, it's a product pass. And a battery is one element of a car. But a car has several elements and several products. So therefore, thousands of product passes will follow. And we have made the investigation that up to the year 2030, there are millions of data sets we have to collect, we have to archive, and we have to deliver to the regulation, so that we can really fulfill all the laws and the requirements given by our governments.
Wow, and I can imagine that's only going to basically expand. Like that's going to more and more and more. All these regulations that you have to basically oblige to, which takes kind of like the energy away from your actual job as building cars You know what I mean? But this is exactly where Catena-X, again, comes into play to make life easier when it comes to that, right?
Yeah, we want to make it cost efficient, of course,
right.
because it's a shared burden. Every OEM has to issue those passports. So it's a shared burden. Everyone has to do it. And why should everyone do it for themselves?
Right, right.
So you can just share the burden, try to find a system that's called Catena-X to really standardize the data sets, standardize the way we speak to each other. It's like a language book, right? And we implement into the Duden now the language.
Yeah.
So we put every word by word into this Duden and everyone understands it, And just, Frank, maybe to give an impression about where the data comes from and who's all involved, we have another slide, right?
All right, check it out.
I mentioned that before, that we really have to collect all the data points from the miner up to the recycling. And the interesting thing is, at the end, we have a dynamic digital twin. So if I talk to Klaus very often, we say digital twin is the future of a digital transformation, because we really have the chance to simulate what is happening,
right.
And you can make a prediction.
Right.
And this is one of the first fully fledged digital twins we are developing, collecting the data and also collecting the dynamic data. How is a battery used? How often it is charged? What is the state of material in the battery? What is the heating status? Or the temperature status. So it's really a new way to think about our products and to have it digitalized.
Interesting. So once again, a bit about the challenges, obviously, and the goals. Now we're going to talk about the ecosystem, about scaling it a bit.
Yeah, we can talk about the ecosystem. So
Okay.
if you see, this is already the ecosystem we talk about, right?
Right.
It's 300,000 companies globally. Later we speak a little bit about how we approach it globally. We went together to China. We go to the US. We try to grow hubs everywhere on the globe for Catena-X, make everyone comprehend what's it all about, and then try to make the hurdle to jump over, especially for the small and medium companies, very, very low, especially with this very well comprehensive applications, right? And an ecosystem is not something where just one vendor would conquer the world. An ecosystem needs many parties. And at the moment, we are setting the scene. We are building the level playing field where a new market starts to grow, a market of consumers and users of the applications, to fulfill the problem here. And on the other hand, we need many companies who build applications.
So you have the more companies, the better, basically, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
more
it.
companies, the better. But we need some ingredients for it, right? We need ingredients to build applications. And therefore, we came up with the idea to build keep it together things, kits.
Yeah.
And the kits, maybe I can show you the kits here.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Frank, maybe you can start with the kits.
Yeah. What Klaus said is very important. If we have a lot of companies together, we have to bring together their ideas and their requirements. And those kits, they are representing initial standards based on open source technology and software that we really have shared understanding how we want to tackle a problem. For example, if we all have to track carbon footprint. So that's the question, how do you measure carbon footprint? Is there a rule? No, there was no rule, but we sat together with the company, said, how do we want to calculate it? How do we want to measure it? And then one of the first kit we have developed and one standard is a rule book, how to measure carbon footprint and how to make it applicable and available all around the world. So that a company in the US is calculating in the same way like in Europe or like in Asia.
Yeah.
And that's important because at the end we need one number.
Right.
And apples plus peas is not working. We need apple plus apples. And that is delivered within one of those kits. Another kit on circular economy.
Right.
I talked about critical and scarce material. Circular economy is helping us to really round and bring the material in circles to really reuse it very often. And we have systematics developed together how we want to do it and how we want to track it.
So to stay in the metaphor of the ingredients you named before, this is kind of like a meal prep.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Isn't
the meal
it?
prep. Exactly.
It's like it's prepped already. You got everything to go. You don't have to worry about the single ingredients because you thought of it beforehand, put it all together in these different kits. Yeah. Anyway, but I kind of get the idea.
Okay.
I hope you do also. So you told us last year that it's all there and it's ready for business, right? If there are customers here in the room now, where can they get more information about this?
Yeah, that's a good question. And of course, there are many vendors in the ecosystem selling applications certified by Catena-X. And of course, now Siemens is one of it. And we play the ecosystem. So under my Catena-X shirt here, I of course have my Siemens shirt.
Of course.
So this is what we call ecosystem. Yeah, you always have the shared burden, but you want to do business. And Siemens uses the kits, utilizes the kits, builds applications, and certifies the applications with the respective kits. And we have here two streams. I just showed you some of our applications. One stream is the sustainability stream.
Okay.
What Frank just explained, you need to calculate the product carbon footprint in the product. So this is what we can do with our Teamcenter solution. Then, of course, if you have the product calculated, you need to get the data from the supply chain, because we all know the biggest portion of the CO2 emissions come from the supply chain. That's why we developed C-Green.
Are they willing to give that data just so free, or is that one of the challenges also to build up that trust in between? Just a question.
Frank, just go ahead.
Very good question. And short story from the beginning of our board work together, where we started in the Catena-X board, there was one very important sentence. We have to develop from an ecosystem to an ecosystem. And it was so visible to see that all the companies there, Siemens, Bosch, Audi, Volkswagen, BMW, and so on, we really had one agenda. And we really say we want to play on eye level. It's win-win. So it's not the old system that the OEM gives the pressure down to the system. No, we have really to create win-win situations. And if I share important data, I also want to have the sharing with my partner on the same level.
Right.
So we cannot push or force another one to give me the data, but I keep it for me. So it's really give and take.
I like what you said before. It's moving from an ego system to an ecosystem. So take out the G, put in the C. And,
that's it. Exactly.
All right.
And the incentive scheme for all companies is not only the regulation fulfillment story. It's also about doing business together, increasing the quality, being able to digitally work together with the OEM, with the supplier network, speaking the same language. This is our broad idea, yeah? And of course, if you start with the battery passport, for example, you will end up in the product passport with millions of new applications and new possibilities and really earn money. Think about financially aspects, yeah? What is happening to the battery after the end of life?
Right.
Yeah, you can maybe earn more money if you know what's inside this battery. So this is just one next level application, one business model that brings business to other companies.
And by the way, the passport, the battery passport you're talking about, is part of the C-Green ecosystem also, right?
C-Green is delivering the CO2 data. The battery passport needs more data. And the battery passport will receive the data, for example, the CO2 data, but other data as well from the supply chain, store it forever, as long as the battery lives, for example, the OEM, Volkswagen, Audi, has to issue this passport. And Siemens is offering a passport, other companies as well. So this is why you asked me, is it live? Yes, it's live.
Yeah.
We have the C-Green solution, we have the battery passport, we have many others also here on the fair today.
So it looks like you two are happy to continue working together and
Absolutely.
expand the network together and the ecosystem. So again, where can we find some more information? Will you be here next to the stage? Maybe can we approach you directly?
We will be here. You will be on the battery passport booth. We will be on the C-Green booth, and there's in the next hall 8, there's the Catena-X booth.
Okay.
So you can learn everything about the association. I have a picture for that. Before you kick us from the stage.
Don't worry, we have another minute.
Because this one is very important. Very important. And I really want to emphasize on that.
And that's really important because here are sitting two bigger companies like Siemens and Volkswagen, but Catena-X is not for the big companies. We only are successful if the small and medium-sized companies can quickly and easily onboard and be activated. And therefore, we are going around the world. We're talking in the US to companies and to associations. We talk to in Asia, in China, in Japan, in Europe to really build local hubs because this is a federated system. It's not centralized. It's not driven by Germany because in the beginning they said, oh, that's a German thing. No, it's a global initiative. And our processes are developed that way that it's automatically to be onboarded, that it's activated easily, so a small company easily can join. And that's the power to really grow it.
And you have the power, obviously, as a big company, once again, to set
We
a
help.
signal.
Exactly.
I think that's important also. Once again, if the big players are on board, then the others will probably follow also. So in closing, once again, here's the
boost plan
here's
you
the
asked
boost plan.
for.
Our time is up. You know where to find them. Let's give them a big round of applause. Frank and Klaus, thank you for joining us.
Thank
the
you, Chris.
first panel of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.